Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today, Tarantusk, Unwisely Awoken, aka Spider-Ham Peter Porker. Kind of a meme card, a little bit. Legendary 2/2 for 2. Spider Boar Hero, I guess. When it enters, create a food token, and other spiders, boars, bears, bats, birds, cats, dogs, frogs, jackals, lizards, mice, otters, rabbits, raccoons, rats, squirrels, turtles, and wolves you control get +1/+1. Well, we're playing some assortment of those things. This is a Golgari zoo list, capitalizing on this Anthem effect from Tarantusk in all of our creatures. 4 Vine Lashers, 4 Recruits, 4 Deep Cavern Bats. Kind of this early game jam, go wide sort of tempo strategy where we're attempting to just kind of tap out every turn. 4 Valley Rotcallers. This is another sort of card we're built around. It doesn't hit everything in our deck, doesn't count everything in our deck because we're on these Paw Patch Recruits as well, but most everything it counts to eventually wear our opponent down, run them out of removal, and stick a Rotcaller and go in for big life gain draining swings. We're on a couple Darkstar Augurs for card advantage, Lord Skitter to support this go wide idea, and 2 Hollow Merc Siege and 4 Innkeeper's Talent to help buff up these little creatures that, once they eventually stick, will continue to grow and threaten these, threaten your opponent in more grindy matchups. The interesting thing about this deck is because we're packed full of Offspring, we have a lot of flexibility in our curve, so we can pay, 1 to play an Iridescent Vine Lasher on turn 1 or save it for turn 3, ideally keeping the pressure on at every stage of the game. Packed full of removal and early game interaction for the go wide creature decks in our main board. 2 Stabs, 4 Bitter Triumph, 4 Intimidation Tactics. We're also on a couple Bossing Say in the main here and a few Restless Cottage. Bossing Say classically works very nicely with these Hollow Merc Sieges. Our sideboard, we're on a couple Keen-Eyed Curator, more Zoo stuff, couple Scrap Shooters, couple Thought Stalker Warlocks, couple Soul Guide Lanterns, and 4 Duresses, 1 Stab, 2 Wear Down. Just a wide variety of options to answer artifacts, enchantments, and then, Duresses and Thought Stalker Warlocks to attack combo and control decks. I really, really enjoy this deck, actually. It's surprisingly strong when it goes off. If you can stick a turn 2 Innkeeper's Talent, I feel like that's when it's at its best. And we just have very, very sticky creatures that, if you curve out nicely, you can definitely steal some games. I'm not going to claim this is like the Ouroboros killer or anything like that, but I think it's a very fun list. And it really captures that classic feel, I think, of classic Magic, where it's like our creatures are doing a lot of stuff, but they're not. You still have to fight for your wins. You know what I mean? You have to play these thinky games, and we're just not outright busted. It's a very grindy play style. So let's hop into a match or two here, and hopefully I can show off some of the power. All right, on the draw, a pretty solid hand. This Bossing Say is going to come in tapped currently, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. At least we have lands and spells. My hair's kind of crazy today. I've got Major Bedhead. Often I have the hat on to kind of try to hide it. Leading on a Realm of Co here. Yeah, let's just go for the Mortuary. We drew this Intimidation Tactics. I think against a Realm of Co deck, I'm going to assume this is like Golgari or a Boroid. I'm going to leave this Bitter Triumph on top. Duress. See what they go for here. They might just take my Intimidation Tactics, but I have this bat anyway. Takes the Bitter Triumph. Well, we have another one on top. Golgari, or not Golgari, Orzhov. Let's go for the bat here. See what they got going on. Duress, Seam Rip, Carrot Cake, Aang's Iceberg. Interesting. It probably makes the most sense to take the Seam Rip here, and then I can Intimidation Tactics the Carrot Cake. Although if I take... Maybe I take the Carrot Cake. Take the Carrot Cake, and then if they go for the Seam Rip on my bat, I can Intimidation Tactics away the Carrot Cake. I think this is okay. I mean, I guess they could duress my Intimidation Tactics, but if that's the ultimate result, not really a horrible position for me. And I actually have like pretty good creatures lined up to their removal here. No idea what my opponent's doing. They're kind of forced to take the tactics here. Well, we draw a Restless Cottage. We're giving our opponent a little more information by playing this right now, but if I draw a basic, I would have preferred to play this anyway, so I think this is okay. And we're definitely going to jam, wait to jam Offspring Darkstar Augur against this list. Double Bob, draw us a lot of cards here. Alright, well, we can go for the Lord Skitter, and then just play out this Bossing Say. Keep their information a little lower. Lord Skitter, Army in a Can, produces a pretty wide board for our sort of anthem effects that we're shooting for. Caretaker's Talent on the field, huge draw for our opponent right off the top. Gets them right back in this game. We get a Paw Patch Recruit, but I'm going to go for this Darkstar Augur. I mean, I could have done it after attacking. Doesn't super duper matter here. We can swing in with both of our creatures. Building up a little bit of a board for ourselves. There's a Hollow Merc Siege. It's pretty good with the Paw Patch Recruit, so we'll leave that on top. It's some action at the very least. We are going to be losing some life to our Darkstar Augur over the course of, the match, but ultimately, we do have a lot of like built-in life gain as well. You get like a food token when you play Tarantusk, aka Spider Ham, and the Valley Rotcaller, of course, gains a lot of life to mitigate the damage. Double Paw Patch Recruit could be pretty good. Slows down the efficacy of this Aang's Iceberg, or really hurts the efficacy of the Aang's Iceberg. And they're not really presenting us with a particularly strong attack next turn. They'd have to draw into a board wipe. I guess they could. They're popping the Carrot Cake, right? If they drew into a board wipe, they'd probably rip it. I'm just gonna hit him in the air right now. Make another rat. I might as well swing with the rat too. I can give up a rat for 2 extra damage. Or maybe I Bitter Triumph this rabbit and go for a big swing. That maybe makes a little more sense. Let's go for the Bitter Triumph here. They're going to make their rabbit. I'm going to kill it. Try to race them a little here. Let's just discard a card. We can afford to give up one of these recruits maybe. Or maybe we don't need the siege here. We're pretty ahead. We're pretty solid on card advantage right now with this Darkstar Augur. Darkstar Augur. It just does not roll off the tongue. Try to go for a big board, and if we draw a Tarantusk, we are pretty well set up. Maybe we jam a Paw Patch Recruit here. There's a pretty good chance they have board wipes in their deck, so maybe it makes sense to be a little conservative. Case of the Stashed Skeleton. Drawing a card. Interesting deck here. I'm going to assume my opponent's doing, like, United Battlefront stuff. And if so, this is really, really sick. I've had an idea like this for a little while. Just play a deck that makes has a lot of non-creature permanents that make tokens for your Caretaker's Talents. I've done something like that already in Boros, but really more all in on the token making aspect, and these are some pretty good colors for it. Coming in with a rabbit, I guess we just take it. Let's see what we hit here. We can't die to this. We stop our curve at 3, so. Ooh, Deep Cavern Bat's a pretty good draw. I think I'm gonna go for the Paw Patch Recruit into the Deep Cavern Bat, so that if they decide they want to play out their Aang's Iceberg here before I bat, they're a little extra punished for that. See what they got going on. I'm guessing they might just have this Aang's Iceberg, but essentially I think we're winning this game if we manage to fade a board wipe. Well, the skeleton doesn't matter that much. It can't block. And I guess we'll take the Aang's Iceberg. Just take their options down. Like, if we were to draw a Tarantusk, we would want to be able to resolve it, I think. I'm going to swing here with my flyers and my rats. And then just play a tapped Blooming Marsh here. They fire up the Fountain Port. They have another blocker. It's big. Slowly whittling them down. Should be able to jam a lethal attack next turn. Caretaker's Talent. That's a bit of a desperation play, perhaps. I'm not sure that there's much they can hit. They'd have to, if they're on like Day of Judgment, they'd have to draw a land plus Day of Judgment here. And we'll see. I have 4 damage in the air. And presumably enough to get through otherwise. Swinging in. Well, let's just go ahead and block to mitigate the potential of just like dying to our Dark Star Augurs. Let's make sure we leave back enough to be able to swing in 1, 2, 3, 4 in the air, plus a couple here. That should be enough. We could die to this hit, I suppose. It's really, really unlikely. And I don't know that I don't think I want to commit to double blocking here. What does that look like? I'm left with 4 in the air plus. I guess that's just lethal anyway. I can fire up the Restless Cottage and get in. So I might as well block like this. Taking no damage here like guarantees I don't die to my Dark Star Augurs. Lord Almighty. Tarantusk, unwisely awoken. Well, I mean that ought to do it. If they have stab, I'm dead anyway. I'm not dead anyway, but my stuff will die anyway. I might as well play Tarantusk. Give my guys an Anthem here. Swing in. Oh, I could have fired up the Restless Cottage too. Yeah, well. Should be enough. All right, good showing. Good showing in game 1 here. Moving on to game 2. I'm losing my voice for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Bring in the Duresses. Seems really good. Take out the Intimidation tactics. Kind of do a little swap here depending on the matchup you're in. And then pretty happy with the Scrap Shooters. Pretty happy with the Wear Downs here. I also think maybe Thoughtstalker Warlock can be okay. We can go down maybe Hollow Merc Sieges because they're on presumably a playset of Seam Rips. And then maybe we cut. I think Innkeeper's Talent is really good though. I'm afraid of like playing a Hollow Merc Siege and getting absolutely no value out of it. At least we'll get a counter out of an Innkeeper's Talent whenever we play it, probably. Maybe go down the Stabs, go down the Bitter Triumphs. And we'll keep 2 in case they're on Elspeth. Try it like that. Could be okay. Rely on our Duresses to set us up here. Blooming Marsh, Deep Cavern Bats, Innkeeper's Talent. I mean, this is a good hand. We'll keep this. I'm not sure that it necessarily makes a whole lot of sense to play out this Paw Patch Recruit typically against like a tokens list, but because our hand is so stacked otherwise, I think it's okay. Get some early pressure on. And I'm just going to go for this Innkeeper's Talent, I think. Get that on the field. Start buffing this Paw Patch Recruit. Make it more of a realistic threat. That can swing through their 1/1 tokens. Corpses of the Lost on the field. I think I'm going to go Deep Cavern Bat here. Probably just play this tapped Restless Cottage. All lands in hand. Okay. Well, not the greatest example or demonstration of my deck's power, but game one looked pretty good. Another Corpses of the Lost off the top. I mean, it is good. I think I have to just block. It's pretty good. Duress, well, it doesn't do anything. Play another bat here. Just to buff it. We'll play this Valley Rotcaller. Plan to block this Skeleton Pirate again and leave them with nothing. I kind of want to just leave them with nothing in case they draw a Caretaker's Talent, and, you know, that's kind of their way back into this game. Okay, here's a United Battlefront. Pretty cool. Pinnacle Star Cage. Gonna hit some stuff. A little bit of weird asymmetry there. I guess they get to choose how they stack their triggers, but... Hasty Skeleton. Sweet deck. Coming in. Valley Rotcaller. I'll play this Thoughtstalker Warlock, make them discard a land. It's not going to be doing much else anyway. I can't block this skeleton because it has Menace. They might just get there, to be honest with you. Maybe I should have played the Rotcaller for that reason. Start fighting back on life total. Swings for 4. I wonder if I get there if I level up this Innkeeper's Talent. Oh, they sacrifice... Okay, interesting. They sacrifice their skeleton to be able to solve the case of the stashed skeleton to be able to descend. Interesting. If I level up this Innkeeper's Talent all the way, swing with a 5/5 Menace and then a... I kind of think I just need the Rotcaller on the field. I'm going to go for the Duress here. It probably won't hit anything, but it might. Oh, pretty relevant. Go for that. Play the Rotcaller here. Start putting counters on the Rotcaller to play around, like, nowhere to run. I think that's okay. Now, Offspring becomes a lot more real at this stage. Like, if we hit the Offspring Iridescent Vine Lashers, being able to, like, put 2 creatures on the battlefield at once for this Valley Rotcaller is pretty good. Sacrifices their case. Hits a Pinnacle Star Cage. Well, that's not the end of the world for us. We actually have lethal if we draw a land here. Lord Skitter. They have Hasty Skeletons too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have Hasty Skeletons. I can play Lord Skitter here and arrest them. Should be able to keep them off of lethal. Yeah, I'm going to take the Aang's Iceberg, I think. Because if they go double skeleton, I can still win through that. But I don't know if I'm winning necessarily through double skeleton and Aang's Iceberg. Exile the Elspeth. Swing for 4. Pretty good position here. Corpse of the Lost. These don't have Menace. They just have Haste. That ought to do it. Pretty good showing here. Thoughtstalker Warlock. Little Menace body getting in with the Innkeeper's Talent. I'd like to play maybe one more match, at the very least, against something a little more meta, hopefully. If I play a second match and it goes quickly, maybe we'll do a third. I'm a little short on time this morning, but pretty happy to be able to show this one off, get a dub in, and then, yeah, let's hop into a second match. All right, on the draw for match 2. Pretty good hand here. We get to lead on Intimidation Tactics or Paw Patch, depending on what we think we're against. I'm going to put them on the lessons list, perhaps. I think it's probably better to go Intimidation Tactics first, get some information. Okay, it's the Quantum Riddler list. Take a Riddler. Their hand's pretty good. We have a Bitter Triumph for the second Riddler. Looks like they're going to send it to the Warp Zone right away, so won't be seeing it again for a little bit. Let's just lead on this Hollowmurk Siege. We can put it on the Sultai mode here, and then when we play our Paw Patch recruits, they're going to have a hard time not giving us cards in addition to the extra counters from the Paw Patch triggers. They decide not to hold up mana, so works out nicely. We'll get them in the lock, as you say. Because if they had held up mana, they could kill the Paw Patch recruit with the Offspring trigger on the stack, thus denying us counters. But now that we have 2 creatures on the field outside of like Iroh's demonstration or what have you, they can't avoid giving us counters here. I guess that what they could do is they could like Roaring Furnace with the trigger on the stack, torch the other one. That's a lot of investment for my little rabbits. Well, I'm going to swing in at the Kaito here. I don't think they can stop me from doing that. If they torch this big Paw Patch recruit, the second one's going to get 2 counters. And I get to draw off of that. Bit of a misplay from my opponent here, I think. Bop him. And then I kind of think I'm maybe allowed to go for this Darkstar Augur situation. It's early enough that my life total is high enough that this could play out nicely. Maybe it's a little risky. Maybe I'm just supposed to hold up Bitter Triumph for this Riddler. Roaring Furnace. Once again, giving me card advantage off of this Hollowmurk Siege and scooping it up. Hollowmurk Siege, pretty good. Maybe we should be on 4. I was on 4 in an earlier draft. I liked the proactivity of Innkeeper's Talent a little better, which is why I ultimately ended up on this split, but maybe 4 Hollowmurk Siege would be pretty good. It looks really good with the Paw Patch recruits, right? Against this list, I think we want Scrap Shooters. A bit bigger of a body for them to have to deal with. And kills a Frostcliff Siege. I think Duress is probably better over Intimidation Tactics. Although there are arguments for both. And then I'm not sure that Stab actually gets any mileage here. Their creatures are pretty big. Maybe we just want kind of a mix of hand rip here. And then... yeah, let's just go like 2 Duress, 2 Intimidation Tactics. That's kind of interesting. I don't know that there's a particular reason to do it. I would guess they play more non-creatures technically, but the creatures are kind of the important way they win this one in conjuncture with the Frostcliff Siege, but we don't have great answers to the Frostcliff Siege anyway. I don't think I just want Sorcery Speed Naturalize in this matchup. I'd rather just Duress it out of their hand, I think. Yeah, maybe we just want more of this overall on the draw anyway. We can cut a Tarantusk. It's a little fragile to their torches. And then... yeah, maybe we go down a second Tarantusk. I'm going to guess they're on Pyroclasms, which could be a bit of a trouble, for our Tarantusk go-wide plan. But Valley Rotcaller is a lot less fragile to Pyroclasm, so. Turn 1 Tiger Seal. Let's lead on this Mortuary. Yeah, we'll keep a land on top. A handful of Darkstar Augurs. Interesting. Duelist of the Mind. I'm going to go with this Innkeeper's Talent here. Go for a Darkstar Augur next turn and just try to stick it, basically. Frostcliff Siege. They're out of the gates a little bit. Tiger Seal's not attacking anytime soon. But they're set up pretty nicely for like a Quantum Riddler play. I'm going to go for the Augur here. 4 toughness, I think, is pretty relevant. Blocks this Duelist of the Mind, blocks the Tiger Seal. See what they have going on. They could have like... okay, they just bounce this back. That's fine. Commit a crime. They're going aggro. Frostcliff Siege Part 2. Probably not great for them. On Teamer this time. Both Teamer. No, sorry. One was on Jeskai. Interesting. I guess we'll do it again. We're opening ourselves up to being sort of tempoed out of the game, but if they have another bounce spell. But I don't see a way that we're winning this one otherwise. You know what card I'm looking forward to for this deck? There's that 1 mana destroy target creature with mana value of 2 or less. It's like a slightly worse. It's a worse fatal push is what it is essentially. But oh, they misclicked on their Iroh's demonstration and they scoop it up. Womp womp. But being able to kill cheaper creatures outside of stab, like things with 3 toughness, like the Tiger Seal and the Duelist of the Mind, I think is actually a really, really big game for decks like this. Huge upgrade. Let's play one more. That didn't feel very satisfying. Let's go for the full 3 set. Hop into the next match here. All right. Yeah, I mean, good hand. It's, you know, you're gonna end up with pretty solid hands no matter what, if you have a good combination of lands and spells, basically. Because we're so low to the curve anyway. Looks like we get Is It Redemption here, or perhaps our opponent will find Is It Redemption. Let's lead on this Deep Cavern Bat, see what they have going on. Okay, looks like it's the Lessons list. I'm just going to take the Quench here. They have double combustion technique anyway. If I take the Quench, it makes them unable to answer this Paw Patch Recruit particularly effectively. I guess I get to swing first. Might as well swing first. Drain my 1 here. They should just kill the Deep Cavern Bat. I don't know. And then we get to pretty easily play around this Quench for the rest of the game. Should be a pretty good match for us, or at least this game is looking like we're off to a strong start. We can go on this Hollow Merc Siege, kind of force some action here from our opponent, make them make a decision. Yeah, I will pay the 2. Let's go with the Sultai. Kind of make their removal pretty butt. They could like bounce the token and then kill this Paw Patch here. Okay, they have an Iroh's demonstration, which is a good answer. Innkeeper's Talent, huge draw for us. Let's go Deep Cavern Bat. See what they got going on. Combustion Technique, we'll take that. Go Innkeeper's Talent. We have the nice little setup here. Start drawing a card every turn. And at this point, you know, this Is It Lessons list does some crazy stuff, but they're just so low on actual material to be able to work with their artist talent and whatnot. Look at what they're reduced to. Look at what you did to my boy Jojo Del Toro. Forced to boomerang basics their own artist talent. You hate to see it. We will play out our hand. Actually, you know what? Let's just jam. Let's just jam the whole thing. Tarantusk, go. Unwisely Awoken. I'm going to buff Tarantusk to get it out of Firebending Lesson range. Make it a 3/3. Pretty good board here. The ward on my creatures is really relevant in this matchup. It makes their removal a lot less efficient against me. They're hitting their card advantage streak now, but it might be a little too late. Just a little too late for them. They're not set up with a monument. They're filtering through their deck, but that's pretty much all they're doing. And then I think I just level up this Innkeeper's Talent next turn. Lord Skitter. A little late as far as exiling their graveyard goes, but actually getting this online makes our Valley Rotcaller a bit better. And we can kill this Gran with the mana as well. Let's put a counter on the Rotcaller here. Helps it survive most things. Kind of our most important piece right now. Take them off of... Yeah, and they scoop it up. Makes sense. Makes sense. Bring in the Duresses. Cut the Intimidation Tactics. Bring in the scrap shooters. I like the wear downs for this matchup, actually. It tends to be how they win, is they just have too much artifact enchantment material on the field and just overwhelm you that way. But wear down, it's essentially, if you gift a card, it's a 1-for-1, basically, or a 2-for-2, rather. But the important thing is like taking them off of their key pieces, really. I think Thoughtstalker Warlock is maybe a little slow and unnecessary. We want the Soul Guide Lanterns. Take the Curator as well. A little extra Graveyard Hate. You could maybe make an argument for cutting the Iridescent Vine Lashers. Just a little slow and lines up kind of poorly into their removal, I think. Maybe the same is true for Tarantusk to a certain degree. And honestly, the Deep Cavern Bat's a little rough, but I think I'm going to go down 2 Bitter Triumphs. And yeah, let's cut a bat. I don't think we want to be fully on the bat train here. Just focus more on our interaction plan and like stick a creature with an Innkeeper's Talent, I think is how we win this. Duress, Stab. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good hand. Okay, drawing a Swamp to be able to stab Gran here is pretty nice. I'm sorry. It's actually my grandma's birthday today. That's why I'm a little tight on time. I have a family get-together here pretty soon. So, sorry, Grandma. Shout out to you. Love you. Let's just go for the Duress here. See what they got going on. Let's take them off the Artist Talent. Maybe we take them off the Monument here, because if they draw a land and slam a Monument, that's pretty annoying. They don't have the red for these cards anyway. Swinging in. Still stuck on mana. Pretty good result for us. I think I'm going to go for the Scrap Shooter here. They won't be able to really meaningfully interact with this outside of going like Mountain Iroh's Demonstration. And I can still block the Gran here. Kind of no matter what. I recommend that if you're watching this, you double block here. I mean, they don't have the red to be able to like kill one of these anyway. But if they have like an Into the Flood Maw, keeps them from being able to keep their Gran alive, basically. Mountain, they found their red source. Might be a little too late for them. Swinging for 1 here. In order to play around the Iroh's Demonstration possibility, I think I'm gonna go. I don't want to get blown out here. I think I'm just going to play a Scrap Shooter. It gives us a really solid base. I know they have an Artist Talent in hand that I could eat with it, but I think the aggressive and more resilient threat, getting that on the field right now, is a little more important, I think. Tarantusk, Unwisely Awoken. Buff our guys. Probably makes sense to go a little wider first. Swing in with the Scrap Shooter. Let's play out this Paw Patch Recruit. No, let's play the Valley Rotcaller. No, let's play the Darkstar Augur. This could be a good window for us to start accruing some card advantage. And if they choose to kill it, they'd have to use one of their combustion techniques or Iroh's Demonstration. And I really wouldn't mind them using an Iroh's Demonstration to open up the possibility of this Paw Patch Recruit being good. Or these Paw Patch Recruits. Fun video so far. I mean, I enjoy this deck. I really like this style. It feels very classic Magic to me. Just like playing dudes that do some stuff, but they're not like Ouroboros, where it's like, okay, I actually just win the game next turn if you don't kill this, you know? Let's go with our... Yeah, let's go with the Paw Patch Recruits here. Kind of force some action. Oh, they don't have anything. Interesting. Oh, swing in. Play Blooming Marsh. Now, we do kind of win next turn if they don't actually have like a... Oh, they level up the artist talent to be able to do a big Iros demonstration. Nice. So it's going to kill most of our stuff. We're going to have the Scrap Shooter alive still, but pretty cool play from our opponent here. Wipes most of my board, but I'm doing okay. I have this big Scrap Shooter I'm swinging in with. Bat. Yeah, let's go for the bat. See what they got. Probably just play the Tarantusk afterward. Pyroclasm. Okay, well, instead of Tarantusk, I'm going to go the Valley Rotcaller in case they manage to get this Pyroclasm back. Although, ooh, with Artist Talent, Pyroclasm just wipes the board no matter what. Damn. And they're going to be able to get it, too, here. A little annoying. Okay, well, they just go for the Iros demonstration. That makes a... Does it make more sense? I don't know. I'm going to have the Scrap Shooter alive still, right? I think they needed to deal with the Scrap Shooter a bit sooner. Because now I can just play Tarantusk and the Tarantusk kill. Unwisely Awoken? Buff my Scrap Shooter, swing at you for 5? That was unwise of you to awake my Tarantusk, bro. Wow, what a run. 3-0 with Golgari Zoo. Yeah, if you like creature decks, if you like the sound of not necessarily being on the busted like Ouroboros Badgermole Cub because you're a little bit of a hipster like me, check this one out. You know, I think Valley Rotcaller has been strong for a while when it works, and it actually works kind of nicely in this deck because we're not all in on it. You know, I've experimented with it in the past before where it's like you play just a deck full of creatures that are pretty subpar, but all feed into the Valley Rotcaller sort of anthem effect. But I like this where we're sacrificing a little bit of synergy by playing these Paw Patch Recruits, but they shore up our they make us less soft to removal, essentially, you know. And I think that's pretty good. Our overall card quality is relatively high. You know, you could argue Tarantusk is you know, he's just a 2-minute. He's a 2-minute anthem. He makes a food, but he's a pretty good anthem as far as anthems go. I mean, it hits everything in our deck, and all of our creatures, like, so many of our creatures have offspring, which makes it easy to go wide inherently. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. You can definitely play around with the numbers of intimidation tactics versus duress in the main. You know, when Lorwyn comes out, we get Overgrown Tomb, which is pretty big game. Hollowmurk Siege looked really, really sweet in that first match? Second match? In one of the matches, it looked really sweet with the Paw Patch Recruits. Works really nicely with the Bossing Say, so you could play with the numbers there as well. But yeah, for now, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. If you liked this video and like more standard content, trying out new ideas, testing new decks, why don't you come on back? I'll be here every day posting daily brews, etc., etc. Maybe doing some ladder climbs here and there. Maybe I promised in a video a while ago that I would do an MTGO league with Selesnya Earth King Wagon, and I haven't forgotten that. I just have not gotten around to it. So let me know what you'd like to see. I know one of my subscribers mentioned that they wanted to see a deck list with Flame something Grappler. The 3-mana Jeskai card that can copy spells. And I've been thinking about this idea. Shout out to you. I think it was DJ Sather? Is that your username? Sorry if I got it wrong. Flamehold Grappler. So I do have ideas for this. I don't have 3 of them, and the deck I want to build, I don't have the wild cards for it, but expect it sometime in the future. I think it works really nicely with plot cards, right? That's probably where I'm going to start off. So if you like plot a Cunning Coyote and cast your Flamehold Grappler into the plotted Cunning Coyote on turn 3, you get, what is it? 9 power of haste, which is kind of crazy, right? On turn 3. Kind of an interesting idea. Also works pretty nicely with Slick Shot Show Off, so you could just like get 2 Slick Shot Show Offs on the field and then fill your deck with burn, basically. Kind of makes sense, like burn and card advantage, and using these grapplers to just give you some busted draws, basically. So if you like that sort of thing, exploring like cards that really haven't had their time in the spotlight, that's kind of what I'm about. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.